What's going on, niece?
What's up? What's up?
Tragic morning, traumatizing morning, traumatizing morning,
I get it.
traumatizing morning. But it's all a part of growth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um,
I know.
man,
I know. How are you
the
feeling?
things that it take to make you tough is an underrated experience. The things that it take to make you tough. It's like when you, it's like it takes as much work to make you tough as it does to make you weak. It may
Mm.
even take more work to make you tough than it does to make you weak.
Yeah.
And I'm really noticing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm really noticing that. Um, it's like when you take a steak, then you gotta beat it
Mm-hmm.
just to soften it up. And that's what people go through in life, right? And it feels like that takes so much work to make you weak, right? To tenderize meat. You beating it for a good 3 minutes and you pounding it with the mallet and it took a
It's the
lifetime.
endurance though.
It took a
Endurance. That's the word.
lifetime to make it tough.
It's
A
the
lifetime,
endurance.
like muscle has to develop. Because when you hold a baby been in the womb 9 months. You know what I'm saying? They come out, then you massage the baby head. The baby, you can shape the baby head. The muscles is all flimsy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy when you think about what it takes for somebody. Again, we always talk about what it takes to make something weak or tender, right? But
Hmm.
it's different to make something tough. It take a lifetime.
But what's
So
your
like I think
definition
about
of tough though? What's
say that
tough?
again.
What's your definition of tough? Like what?
Strong, firm, the ability to endure, like a
Yeah.
muscle, that's been
Hmm.
developed over time. You know what I mean? It could
Hmm.
take more abuse, it could take more weight and strain and you know what I'm saying? It could take like
Hmm.
more. Like, and one thing I could tell you, like this journey through this music industry, like right for the last 17 years, of being signed has been tough. You know what I mean? It's made me tough. Like not even tough. It's tried to make me tender. Like it's tried to
Yeah.
tenderize. It tried to soften me up like crazy. It like the last 17 years of my life in this recording industry really has tried to break me down, like fracture, like my morals. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you go to certain parties and everybody drinking and smoking and it try to break who you are. They try
Well,
to make you feel like
that's why I asked you what's tough because people, just the title of this live stream, people think gangster is boom boom pow pow pow. That's why I said like define tough. And I think you said the word. The word is the endurance of the whatever you're going through.
well, we're gonna get into that, but just saying how this life has tried to like the last 17 years, where don't get me wrong, I've made millions of dollars, right?
Right.
Millions of dollars, right? So it feel like the last 17 should be like this really romantical thing, right? Because money, right, supposed to be the solution for everything. And that's not what's happening. Like, right? What's happening is like this last 17 years has tried to tenderize me. It's tried to make me weak. It's tried to make
Mm,
me tender. And if I wasn't a gangbanger before this,
mm.
I don't know how I would have survived it.
Huh.
Right?
Because
My
of your
mom
morals.
died in prison, right? In 2010, 11 niece.
Hmm.
I've had millions of dollars, then I had $1,000. You get heckled every day by people, you know what I'm
Who
saying,
don't
that's
know nothing.
trying to demean you every day. You walk in rooms and the people that you supported your whole life don't have to support you. They don't give you teachings or interests or nothing. Feel me? Like this business will break most people down. And that's why
Yeah.
you get the Puff Daddies. That's why you get, shout out to Puff, not to diss Diddy, you know what I mean? But
No, I
that's
get
why
what you're
you get
saying.
the guys who become
Mhm.
like these wrecks where they have to live like this crazy life of constantly medicating their mind to go into spaces to deal with
With
all of the trauma that they've succumbed to just to get where they're going.
yeah. We just talked about that the other day when I was like saying like we wasn't raised like a certain way, you know.
Facts.
So the things that we endure that we can endure is like because when you think about it, I don't know too many people in our family that's on hard drugs. You know what I
No,
mean?
no,
Like
no.
we kind of
We came from a foundation of people that had to deal with it sober.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but even then, to me, like, right, like, I think if I would have came into the music industry, the recording industry, just like straight from family to here, I wouldn't have lasted.
Mm,
There's no way possible I would have lasted. Like I would have became, maybe I would have been more successful because I would have went with more programs, you know,
hmm
more people would have felt like they could be involved with me. A lot of people, and I don't mean this as a diss to the people who don't, you know what I mean? But like there's people who not gonna interact with me because of what they think I am or what I represent.
Your perception,
And
your
and, and I don't get mad. Like I totally get it. I
mm,
totally understand why those people feel that way. And to some degree, they right. You know what I mean?
hmm
Some degree they right. I'm not that kind of person. Um, and I really attribute it, I do attribute 20 to 30% to our upbringing, right? Through moms, fathers, older siblings, you know. But I attribute 70% of what I am to cripping,
to to streets. No, I
to
get you. I
straight cripping.
understand. I
No ceilings
understand.
live.
Cause I'm not no gangbanger, but I was able to go live on the East Coast in DC, Maryland, New York, and was unscathed. Like I didn't
because
fall victim or
because you're
temptation to
raised in
anything.
street urban culture. You raised in the ilk. And you're not like your uncle. You're not like a part of the infantry of a community, but you was
Mhm.
raised just like your uncle in a community where you forced to stand up for yourself.
You know what I was
Um,
thinking about earlier this morning? I will never forget you told me this. I think I was about like 11 years old and we was at like a family function and you was like, and this is when I was just like, how I used to just be,
mhm.
you know,
Lit
because
up.
I used to think I was a thug, but you
You
was
are.
like, Nay, one day you're gonna have to tone that down. And I'm like,
Yeah,
no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And you was
you are.
like, when you grow up, you gonna have to, I be telling people that my family really used to call me Wednesday because everybody think I'm so nice now. I'm like, y'all really
Yeah,
don't know me.
nah. You was on some timing. No ceilings live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on Digital Soapbox at noon Pacific Standard
Somebody
Time.
said, greetings, glasses, young lady up there. You didn't introduce
Hey,
me.
my niece's name is Dejanay, so we call her Nay.
Oh, Nay.
So
Exactly.
y'all, that's my niece Nay. No ceilings live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday noons Pacific Standard Time right here on Digital Soapbox. Click the thumbs up button. Let everybody know you in the house. Go in the description. We do this to support the No Ceilings podcast. The No Ceilings podcast available on Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcast. The No Ceilings podcast, executive produced by Charlemagne the God, uh, the Black Effect Network, and iHeart. Great episode we did Tuesday. I had my niece Nay on the show, right?
Mhm.
And we were talking about gangbanging, and I told you guys this before based off the pod that she asked me one day, why do people think gangbangers are stupid? And after letting other people hear the podcast, getting their opinions, hundreds of people hit me back with their opinions and told me different things. I realized it's because the connotation on gangbanging is it's bad.
Mhm.
And I thought that would be a good thing to address in the stream. I thought that was interesting. Shout out to everybody at the lunch table. You already know this the lunch hour, so we feeding y'all mind. Shout out to everybody at the lunch table in the groups. You know what I mean, that's in the comments. Shout out to BB, Mr. Loco, David, Tap, Dante, Mr. Green, Tree, Craze. What up, cuz? Don, feel me? Craze was supposed to be on this episode, and I slept. I forgot to send him the stuff. Monique Hill, PJ, Nate, Byron, everybody
Joey was
else.
here.
So I thought about that and visiting it, like, right, and having that conversation about, is gangbanging really negative? Shout out to Byron. It's my first time. I think you've been at the lunch table before. I'm sorry. I'm about to tell you a lie. Shout out to my boy Ray. What's up, Ray? What up, Jackpot? Josh, what's up? Yeah, check in. Let me know y'all in the house. Gangbanging, negative, immature load of bullshit. It makes Los Angeles look bad. Nothing positive, inclusive of gangster. Top come out of it. Should have ended when they did. The truth's absolute ridiculousness. Now, Byron, I understand the connotations in your emotions, but I'll be honest with you. There's no chance I would have survived this music industry as myself without being a Crip.
My city made me proud yesterday. Watts put a smile on my face yesterday.
Yeah, because we do
that
it
was
all the
beautiful.
time. That's more
Right,
common than it's not.
right, right,
Shout
right,
out to
right.
TDE, another successful, gift gathering where they gather gifts to give to people. People bring gifts unwrapped. They donate the gifts and they get a free concert in exchange.
That's
They get a free
gangster.
concert in exchange, and it looked like they was at Coachella. It was
Right. That
so
looked like
many
Howard
people
Homecoming.
in the projects, man. It was like, I seen a picture, and shout out to everybody who went. I didn't go because I've been to 5 or 6 of them, and it's like I've seen it, right? And I don't look for times to gather with the homies. Like, shout out to Rock, shout out to Top, shout out to I can go see Top I'm going to see Top at the studio this week to get help with something I'm working on. That's my man. Shout out to Dot. I just called Dot on the phone, or I FaceTime if it's something I need to see him, or go see him at the studio. Rock, same thing. I was supposed to go see J Rock months ago at the studio, and I just haven't because I've been in my own world, and you get trapped. So forgive me, but you get trapped. So I didn't go, but I saw pictures, and
That
it
looked
was
like Howard
insane.
Homecoming. That was insane.
And
That was
all of those
insane.
free toys and people came to the projects, it's no problem. So again, it just depends, right?
But that's
So
gangster, Uncle.
it's
That
very much is gangster. That's some gangster
that's
shit to do. Yeah. So shout out to Hussein. I never seen him at the lunch table, but I like the name. Hello, first define gangbanging. That's a great point.
Mhm.
I've had this conversation a million times, but for some reason it always falls on deaf ears. So here it is. Gangbanging is not quite like the verb you think it is. Gangbanging is more of an adjective than a verb. Like the confusion, like we talked about, is when somebody says hitting somebody up, that's gangbanging. That's not. That's called set tripping. Gangbanging is anything a gangbanger does that the law doesn't agree with in the pursuit of ultimate morality, in the name of the community and the friends that you grew up with. That's gangbanging. It's a little deeper than you ever heard it, but that's what it is. Set tripping is set tripping. That is based off a per person thing. Some people do be set tripping. Some of them will see each other. But again, gangbanging is everything you do. It's like being a hip hop artist.
Mhm.
That's why when you apply gangbanging through the arts, it's hip hop, right? Because you expressing street urban culture in that way. So
Also talk
again,
about the morality of it all, just the integrity that goes into certain
sure,
things.
sure. But again, that's still a man thing, right?
Right.
So there's a confusion, right? That, oh, okay, you have to do these things. Like there is no rules that you have to snatch purses. There's no rules that you have to snatch purses. There's no rules you have to sell drugs. You don't have to do anything. You just got to be a homie that don't let people disrespect them and let other people get hurt. You just got to be a stand-up man.
Mhm.
I don't know what everybody else's perception of gangbanging is. I could tell you as a gang member what gangbanging is because I gangbang. Now, can other people, they can give you their perception of it. But I'm telling you, there's not nobody breathing air gangbanging gonna tell me how this goes. The people that probably could would already told me that, hey, you doing it right. The people that told me already said you doing it right. Shout out to my homeboy Lil AG from Avalon too. Gang members are some of the smartest people on earth. We were
I
just
agree.
influenced, young, so we did stupid grown man actions with the mind of a child. I definitely agree.
I
But
agree
I
with you.
think that some of it is like that. I think some of them is like that. I don't think most gangbangers, again, it is a lot of power for an immature mind. Like I think if you gave any 14-year-old person in the United States of America the power of a military, of an infantry, and also, again, the power the power and the control of an infantry, you may make bad decisions. There's no bad decisions you could make. Everybody would probably make the decisions. Shout out to Byron. You go against society and go against the laws of the land. There's absolutely no positivity coming out of inclusive or rap music, which sounded good largely because of funk. That's ridiculous. Any black man that feels like the laws of the United States are worth following, you need to re-examine who you are.
I be having a hard time how people just see gangbanging a certain way, but then like war a different way, like cliques and wars a different way.
Which is
I
crazy, right? Because
it's not connecting for me. But I guess people feel like because they pay taxes to it, it makes it okay. But it just doesn't connect for me. I don't know. Like we praise the Panthers, we praise all these groups and militias, but
sure. Tons of militias have came from, have manifested in this country. But again, it's also people. There's also this group of people who feel like there's no reason to fight for anybody.
but that's just not
Human.
real. That's not how God set this up though.
Well,
That's not.
and not to even blame God, because God
No, I'm not blaming God.
no,
I
I'm
just
saying
think
because I'm not saying that. I'm saying because God is a warring God. God is a vengeful God. God is a vengeful God. They talk about that in the Bible. That's actually in the Bible. God is a vengeful God. God will definitely come by and bust that drive-by on you in vengeance. That's why he's a vengeful God. It's right there. No Ceilings Live, lunch hour, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon. I have my niece, Nay, on it. Nana is on the live stream. My niece, Nay, Piece of Nay on Twitter. Y'all should follow her. She's a brilliant mind, went to Howard, just a sharp all around, and always been like this since she was a little kid. Always had this really great and grown temperament, just a thinker. She's a thought leader, no different than me and Dot. And that's why we've always had a great relationship. We always been able to understand each other a little bit deeper. It just depends on where you are. I almost don't understand how a black man in this country could be that mindful of the laws. That's
they're
just weird
brainwashed.
to me.
They're brainwashed. They're conditioned. I won't say brainwashed. I say conditioned.
Shout out, it's just weird to me. I quite don't understand. I quite don't understand. Thanks, Dane. This one of Pooh homeboys. Siobhan's Pooh.
Our
yeah, Pooh Jetta. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This one is homeboy. He worked for the NBA. Pooh is, don't pay a dang no. I'm not reading that, Dane.
Oh.
Anyway, no, again, it's like I just don't believe in a world that exists where you don't have to fight. I don't know about that world. I would like for that world to exist, but biblically, historically.
Can I get into my astro bag real quick? Because
Please,
Mars.
I would like to hear your astro bag. No, I never really got into
I love the stars, the moon, the sun, and the earth. Well, Mars literally is the planet of war and aggression. So that's why I said by design, God designed it for us to, love and war. It's like you can't have peace without war. You can't have war without peace. So it's like it's the balance of it all. So that's why the reason why you can't imagine a world without it is because a world without it doesn't exist. Think about animals in like the animal kingdom. When you talked about like when you grew up learning a lot from the streets, like that's the same way in the jungle. Like you're gonna endure some. If you want to eat in the jungle, you gonna go through some things. You're gonna have
Yeah,
to
you
fight
got to
some
fight
battles.
somebody. Y'all
You're
might
gonna
end
have
up
to go through some
fighting over that
wars.
meal. Good point. Yeah. No,
So it's like you can't imagine a war because a war without it literally does not exist.
yeah, yeah. Shout out to Peter Wilder at the lunch table. Much love, homie. I'm glad you made it to the lunch table, man. I'm glad you made it to the stream. First pod I've tapped into live. Been listening for a few years now. Glasses, shout out to you for losing a bunch of weight. It's inspiring to see. Man, when they armed me with the information of calories being, I knew calories was energy, but it took YB to push it into my mind. And I finally got a grasp on it. Shout out to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for How to Eat to Live, that book, the gift that keeps on giving. That, like, I can't even tell you how impressed I am with the brothers from the nation. Like, I would be a brother from the nation if I wasn't a Crip, for sure. You know what I'm saying? I
They
already just
gangster too.
blown
They
with
they
something.
some of the most gangster people.
Oh, they for sure top notch gangsters. You feel me? They not gonna do no playing. So again, man, like, yeah. And shout out to the homie Rob for moderating. We love you, Rob, for that. Don't forget that we need everyone in the chat box to hit the like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. He's right. So I'm always impressed by the nation. So shout out to them. And Peter, that's who deserves to praise the nation, because two brothers that are my brothers, even though I'm not a part of the nation, which everybody theoretically is a part of the Nation of Islam, even if you don't go down and take the infantry part of it, you a brother by nature. So shout out to the brothers. So they really pushed it in my mind and got it together. And I'm 20, 30 pounds away from target of where I'm supposed to be based off of my dimensions and measurements. So yeah, shout out to the brothers for being brothers even when I'm a Crip. So no, gangbanging is not bad. Gangbanging can empower bad behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Gangbanging can empower and magnify bad behavior. Gangbanging is like you can go to college and be a Crip. Like there's no rules. It's not like you go to college. Honestly, if you really a solid homie and people love you and you really one of us, like if I would have went to college, like honestly, I made a mistake and I didn't even think about it, right? But instead of asking my homies to fund my music career, I could have asked my homies to fund me going to college.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think of it like that. It sounded asinine because it's an immature mind of a 23-year-old, 22-year-old trying to really, again, you're more like people forming you still. So you don't quite know. You almost still half playing by the rules, like what you think the rules are. But then when you grow up, you actually, like, I see what the rules are. Like, right, I could have told my older homies, hey, man, I was trying to go to Azusa Pacific. I need y'all to come together, blah, 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 this, and then do some of the work myself. My homies gathered $15,000 to help me start what became Blue Division Records and make my first tape. Shout out to Boo. Shout out to Maine. Shout out to Pluck. I could have said that same 15,000, like, hey, man, I'm finna go to college and then finish my dream of being a pharmacist. I got my mind together, right? This is what I want to do. I don't have no doubt in my mind if I would have came to Moon, to Pluck, to Shady, to Tone, to Maine, to Tick, to Fats, to Ron. I said, man, this is what I'm trying to do. They would have did it.
Yeah.
Because I was a solid homie.
But
I was
like
a
I said,
solid homie.
it's just the way that the media portrays what the media portrays it to be, So that's why people are like conditioned by the media. Like I'm not saying that everybody should just be out here going to get put onto a gang. Like that's not what I'm saying.
That way. It don't work that way in the first way.
Right.
You really can't get put onto a gang. Like that's a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, everybody had to know you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You like I've been knowing Pluck since I was like 6, 7 years old. Like he seen me as a little kid. He was saying that, like, man, I've been seeing you since a little kid, little goofy kid. So you had to be around the way. I have a song called Put On. That's dope. And it really visits it. Like you had to be from around the community. You couldn't be an immigrant. Like if you was an immigrant, like just like America, you had to really serve a term before they would allow you to be down. So again, it's one of those things
Who is
that
Squishy? Squishy said people are
Squishy
very
is my
conditioned.
dog. Like that's the number one supporter of this live and been supporting No Ceilings podcast.
I like his statement. He said people are very conditioned by the
She,
media.
her, she.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
she.
Squishy, meet
Oh,
my
okay.
niece. That's my niece Nana. Nana, me
Hey,
Squishy.
girl.
Really brilliant.
Which is why
She a dope
people
mom.
glasses say urban if they hear black. No, that's true too.
That is true. And that's
Urban,
weird that they keep
yeah.
saying it. I keep saying street urban and people keep assuming urban is black. But shout out to the white people for programming that too. Um, hold on, it's a great question. Yingy
Mm.
777. What good thing has Crips and Bloods done after abandoning protecting the neighborhood 50 years ago? They never abandoned protecting the neighborhood. That's never been abandoned. What do you mean the good thing? The good things is raising the kids that's in the community. Listen, gangs don't pull you. Okay, true gangbangers don't pull you from the right things. But if you're going to do the wrong things, they're going to show you how to do them and stay alive.
Mm.
Because we come from a place that don't have a ton of opportunities, that don't have a ton of segues easily available. Not to mention you've been tenderized by this country who hates people that look like you, that oppresses people that looks like you, that deprives people that looks like you. And then now everything else that's happening, you know what I mean? You decide you want to do the wrong thing. The gang shows you how to do the wrong thing. Now, there can be critique that there's not enough people that know how to do the right thing in the gang, but if they did the right thing, most people abandon the community. They abandon the community. So that's a standard thing. Shout out to the homie Dark Gable. Much love, brother. I seen you at this lunch table before. Gang banging was terrible in the 1980s. Gang banging became terrible in the 1980s because money got involved. Crack got involved. The
Mm-hmm.
trade got involved. That's what
Guns.
made it worse. Just like America got worse over the time as money started to become a thing. When they started to pursue interests of opportunity and resources, it gets bad. That's when people start to fight the worst, right? You start to fight over territory because now you want to make money. You want to empower yourself, your friends to make money. So you're going to fight over this corner. And now you have money to fund weapons.
Mm-hmm.
That's standard in all nation building. That's all nation building. That's every nation. I don't care which nation it is. Again, I don't think gang banging is bad. I think gang banging can magnify bad behavior.
Yeah.
I think it could really overexpose and make people think that this is what that thing stands for.
I like to articulate what game. Somebody said if your argument is that it's only tribalism, then no. I like you to articulate what good
So this is
game.
my brother Thomas, TPJ from Hoops and Brews. I could
Where's he
tell just
from?
because I know it. So if your argument that it's only tribalism, then no. I'd like you to articulate what good gangs do, please. I'll tell you specifically, and shout out to Aaron Collins. Welcome to the lunch table, brother. We're glad you're here.
Where's he from? Where's he from?
Hoops, Thomas from Chicago, so he has his personal interest.
Oh,
He's
okay.
dealt with that, but he's also not a gang member.
Mm.
Whatever you think that's good about me, Tom, anything you think is good about me, the gang enhanced that. So you knowing me, right? That I will stand up for you when somebody's wrong, unwavering. Gang banging taught me that.
But I
Gang banging
asked that
taught me
because
that.
I think that depending on where you grow up culturally, gang banging is different in a way, in a sense,
Well,
because people might
I think it's the
people.
person.
You
I
think it's
think
the
it's the
person?
person that makes it bad, right? Shout out to Michael Baker. First time seeing you at the lunch table. Appreciate you being here. If you're out terrorizing society and neighborhoods, then yes, gangbanging is terrible. Nobody can terrorize a neighborhood. Like you talking about going to strange like you can't go. So there's this confusion about gangbanging that they make old people go in the house and they snatch their purses. Or that's not what's happening. That's somebody's
But I feel
grandmother.
like you don't have to be a gangbanger to be a robber, a shooter.
Don't have
Like
that don't have nothing to do with gangbanging.
right, and I think that's where people get it confused. They combine the two. They combine
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that has nothing to do with gangbanging. Like robbing and killing has nothing to do with gangbanging. That's just the actions of a person in a gang.
That's the actions in a person in a certain type of community, though.
Well, I mean, that's the actions of human beings, period.
I was about to say that's actually
Yeah,
human
you
beings,
could pick
period.
any
You don't
community.
have
You
to
could be in
be.
Russia.
That's
They
why I
killing.
said that
Yeah.
people, say like, what good do gangbangers do? But the person that you might be describing might not necessarily be in the gang. They could just be a messed up person. They
Yeah.
could just be somebody that's hungry. They could just be somebody that's on drugs. That doesn't necessarily mean they're in a gang.
I mean, like I say, gangs are going to empower you to be who you are. You're going to magnify whatever person you are. Are you saying should gangs be corrective of behavior? I don't think that's organizations in general. I think that's what separate a gang from being a great thing. Now, a bad thing, it's probably not a bad thing. It's really a regular thing. It's just a normal
Mhm.
thing in life. Now, the Nation of Islam is a great thing. That empowers people.
Right.
That empowers people. That teaches people how to be better. That's a great thing. That's a great thing. One thing you gotta do, Nana, is don't pay attention to the comments. They'll throw you
Oh,
off.
because you see me. I'm,
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm like,
Don't do that because again, people have to come into this conversation. Well, two things. One, they gotta believe it's in good faith. They gotta
right.
believe that this is not propaganda. Glasses is not trying to encourage someone into joining the gang. If they thinking negative and ignorant like that, it's already the conversation is not in good faith for them. Two, they have to be coming in with an open mind to listen to a real member telling them, right?
Yeah.
Somebody that's experienced it, right? So, again, it's one of those things where it's like, if the one thing I like to do with the live is have a conversation in good faith. I'm not
Right.
trolling you. I'm not trying to encourage you to do silly stuff. I'm telling you the truth. This is based off experience and intellect and time to study. So I'm not saying, a lot of times, so
Yeah.
people be in the comments just reacting emotionally. They'll
Okay.
just be
I
like,
turned
oh
it
man,
off.
this is
I
some
turned it off.
bullshit. And how could you? It's like, bro, I'm a Crip. So I don't care
I
if you
mean, well,
saw it.
my original statement is why people feel like gangbangers aren't intelligent, and then people, the conversation that led to was because of the actions of a gangbanger. Gangbangers don't make intelligent decisions, but I'm just like,
Well,
it was confusing for me
there's
because I'm
no
like,
specific actions. What's the
but that's
specific actions? What's a unique action that's unique to gang members?
you asking me, or you want me to ask as far as society would say?
Well, I'm asking society and I'm asking you. I'm just trying to
Okay, so
figure out
a
what's
society,
one
what
unique
society would
thing.
say is that a unique action is killing and terrorizing
But
neighborhoods.
that's all over the world. That's happening on the news every day. We're looking at Israel go to war with a terrorist group, Hamas, and killing innocent Palestinian people in the process.
But they don't
Well,
see that. They're not connecting
they
those.
connected. They just see them as white people and feel like whatever white people do is right. That's just really the truth. We don't got to lie. They look up to white people. So they like, if white people do it, it's for a better reason. They don't have a logical thought. They would never connect somebody that's poor and grew up in a poor community to the same actions as America. Oh my God, Lord knows if they're doing just what Israel doing, this is unique, but again, that's this weird thing, you know what I mean?
But they said that that's protecting the country
I'm
when we
sure it
go
is. That's what it is. Yeah, I get why you don't hear me when I talk about politics, I get it. Like
right.
everybody's been on, you see people on that Israel or Palestinian or Hamas, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stay out of this.
Hmm.
Because you know why? I have no business trying. I don't know enough about why they are squabbling to be telling them why they shouldn't be squabbling.
Right.
I don't know. Like, I get why Palestinian people are mad. Palestinian people are mad, like, y'all took this land from us. This was our land, so forth. And Hamas is the uprising of that attitude. And here is the gang of the Palestinian people. And they like, we're going to fight Israel. You guys get it. And I get Israel. They like, no, we are supposed to be guaranteed this land. And they legally gave us
Mhm.
this land. So we're going to fight and defend it. And we're going to, hey, we're going to fight you. Okay, well, whoever win. Whoever win, niece. Whoever win.
I mean, I get it. I get it. I understand it. I understand it. I also understand the nuance of growing up in a home with people who are from, said places, and how our family dynamic is set up. So I can never see you as a person that's not intelligent or not intellectual because of how we, grew up. So, and then it's just like not just inside of our house, a lot of gangbangers that I know are extremely intelligent people. That's
Sure.
why I'm just like, I don't
Well,
know.
I think most people never really meet gang members.
Mm.
Like people who say that, I don't think people close to it. Shout out to my brother Gene, who's not a gang member, but he grew up in the community and he realized gang members are intelligent. Some gang members aren't intelligent,
Hmm.
so it's one of those things where, trying to explain it is crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Shout out to Revenge. Uh, I rarely have ever met a non-intelligent. Me too. I don't really know too many gang members that aren't intelligent. I do know some. Some homies is like, shallow as a box of rocks. Like they are, it's some dumb homies. Feel me? But even the dumb homies where they make up it with loyalty is dope. And then
Mm.
most of my homies, especially my G homies outside of wisdom, they're really intelligent. They're thinkers. They will think and strategize some shit.
Well, like I told you the other day, that whole term, like keeping your head on a swivel. Like, do you know the intellect it takes to operate like that, and just going into rooms and knowing how to read energy of people because of the things that you've learned in the streets? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, it's like just because people measure intellect by like book, and not the actual application of it in the world. So that's why I'm just like, what I brought up the example of being in the jungle.
Yeah.
Like when you out there, you gotta make it do what it do. It's
Yeah.
survival of the fittest.
Hell yeah. Listen, I'm gonna tell you a story. Shout out to Kenneth Worthy. Again, this is No Ceilings Live, lunch hour every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time, 12 o'clock. Let me right here. Click the thumbs up button. Shout out to the moderator, Squishy, the homie Rob. Uh, Go ahead, subscribe to the No Ceilings podcast in the description. This is why we do the live stream, and this is a conversation we were elaborating on. It's a really great podcast episode, conversations on what's gangster. Uh, Head over to Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, and anywhere you get your podcast. No Ceilings Podcast, executive produced by Charlemagne the God, the Black Effect Network, and iHeart. Um, Shout out to Kenneth Worthy. This is a real conversation. That's fact. The gang I belonged to was not that bad. We were trying to get money, but yes, some dumb shit happened. But what if we were to lead in positivity? We're all now possible to be. And that's usually what happened though, Ken. Like homies start to realize what's possible. Remember, these are poor people trying to figure out what's possible.
Mhm.
Like you don't know what's possible. Poverty makes the world very narrow, short-sighted. Like you can't see everything. And this is coming from somebody whose mom exposed them. My family, my mom's, my father's, my sister, we were exposed. They exposed us to a lot. But I realized how certain homies like Moto, rest in peace, Lil J, how they saw the world. They saw the world small.
Mhm.
They saw the world small. They saw us so small, like places like Santa Monica was far.
Mhm.
Like they would say,
Mhm.
like, man, I ain't fit to drive way over there.
When I
That's
was
why
living in
real
Brooklyn,
gang banging wars, they don't last. Like, shout out to
mhm.
the homies from 60s. Shout out to the homies from Hoover. Like, that's not a real war. They don't even see each other.
When I was living in Brooklyn, I remember this guy telling us that certain people don't even leave their borough. Like people really live their
Yes.
life in Brooklyn their whole life. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. It's poverty. Poverty makes the world very short, very short. Like you see the world small. Like people never leave Watts.
Mhm. That's true.
People
That is.
never leave. Poverty does this to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a crazy journey, and I get it. You have the public narrative of
Mhm.
what being a gangbanger is, and then you have what really being a gangbanger is.
Mhm.
And the truth is, long as you do it, true gangbanging is pursuing the interests of you and your friends without the law being the ultimate judge of what's done. That's really gangbanging. Like, I don't give a fuck. There, like, you could go ask Baby Gangsta if I say this to him. You could ask T. Rogers, rest in peace, any legend. If a young person, they don't know. So again, you can't ask somebody 20 to define what they're doing. They're just doing what they think it is. Mm-hmm. You have to talk to people that know. You could do everything else and be a solid homie. You could do everything else and be a solid homie. Like, there is no rules to being a solid homie.
Still, you're not following me back on Twitter.
I will. You know what? I got that bad. What's happening, y'all?
Check your audio. Make sure you're on your mic.
It ain't turned up?
No. Check your audio and make sure your settings is on your mic. I think it's on your computer.
Check no, I thought I could switch to, hold on.
Just make sure.
Yes, on here, and they say I'm loud too. Hold on.
Okay.
What, do it sound funny or something?
You get a little bit. Your acoustics.
Shout out to Big Rick from Chicago. Speed Not Twisters. What's the deal? I would love to get you in on this conversation. Let's do it Monday, Sheep. I would love to have this conversation with some brothers from Chicago because their black gangs, as far as what they're famous for, existed long before ours. So y'all got at least 10 years, so we could double back. But shout out to him, and thanks for sending me the happy birthday text, man. That mean a lot to me. You know what's funny, D? I was supposed to have Perico. It's funny because me and Perico have two different takes on what gangbanging is, but Perico is also younger. He's also younger. I could tell Perico what gangbanging is because I've been doing it longer. Perico gonna feel like he been to prison, but I told him being in prison don't have nothing to do with gangbanging. That's just being a criminal. Everybody go to jail. You ain't got to be from no gang to go there. But there is nothing unique. Me and Steele had this conversation. He hates that I'm a gang member sometimes. Like, he don't hate it because he got friends that's gang members, but he's so hypercritical that I represent Crippin' in everything that I do. And I told him that's what makes it, that's why it's gangbanging.
Everything else about Crippin' with you.
That's because I'm a Crip.
No, but you put Crippin' into everything, shit that where it don't even belong.
Where does it not belong?
It's just in general conversation. Everything with you is about Crippin'. Like, you want to eat blue tortillas. You
have to have
blue sweet potato pie. And just anything like that. He sent me a fucking purple, a blue fucking sweet potato. I said, who the fuck eat blue sweet potatoes?
You never had a purple or
it has more nutrients.
That's not even right. A sweet potato is supposed to be orange.
No, potatoes come in different colors.
Or you can get the white one that has a slightly different flavor and texture to it. It's less stringy. But you
never had a purple sweet potato?
Hell, that's disrespectful. That's like people that want to put shrimp and all that shit in the macaroni and cheese and just mess up the stuff. Keep the certain foods traditional. Keep it traditional.
You need to go to this restaurant. You need to have a purple potato. It's good. It has nutrients.
It's more nutrients for black people.
Man, if I want nutrients, I'm gonna take me some vitamins. I don't eat pie to have nutrients. I eat pie to enjoy myself and to satisfy my appetite for something sweet.
So
I'm gonna fuck y'all up with a little bit of truth today. I'm gonna fuck y'all up with a little bit of truth today. Certain food is not meant for y'all niggas to go out there and fuck up. Sweet potatoes are supposed to be orange. Macaroni and cheese ain't supposed to have chicken and shrimp and all that other stuff in it. Grits supposed to have sugar and butter on it, not no salt and pepper.
That's true.
What else is it that y'all do? What is that we do that annoys the fuck out of me?
Do you know the food that we eating today is not even close to the food that we supposed to be eating?
Yeah, but a tortilla is not called a tortilla. I've heard some people do some crazy stuff, man.
So blue corn tortillas, you don't rock with them? You don't rock with blue corn?
No, that's the stuff that she do. I said, you go turn a taco into a crip, huh? Is everything got to be a crip? Everything is a damn crip with glasses. Everything is about crip.
You know, the darker the vegetable, the healthier.
Man, that's why I take vitamins. Gee, you know I'm 50. I take vitamins now. I take a multivitamin every morning.
That's because
it's probably more bad stuff in your vitamin than it is in that sweet potato.
And you know what? My blood work is A1. I go to the doctor like every 2 months. My blood work is A1. I ain't got no sugar. I ain't got no type of health effects. I'm still, man, I'm on. So I'm gonna continue eating the way I eat and enjoying life.
Shout out to Richard P. Thomas. First time seeing at the lunch table. What's up, Brody? Darker, the more nutrient rich. Exactly.
Exactly. Yep.
You know what? I'm gonna try it, man. If it don't taste right, I'm gonna be highly upset
Now
because
you want
I
to
go
try it.
places. I go places and I see
It's
people
going
doing
to
stuff to food. I say it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to the sweet potato pie.
it's going to taste. It's not going to taste. It's going to taste right. It's not going to taste white.
A blue pie, though, man. I don't even know if that might mess up the aesthetics of my dinner.
The
Oh,
aesthetics.
Lord.
Are you eating?
Why are you
for
saying
food?
aesthetics?
Because you know you got your table set for the holidays, and people see the pies and desserts all on one side, the meat in the middle of the thing, and the sides, the mashed potatoes, the macaroni and cheese, and just all the stuff, and just the roast in the middle, just like as a thing. It's just a picture.
Oh, Lord.
Shout out to my brother Craze.
You
Thank you
shouldn't
for
even
the
be worried
first.
about what the food really look like. You should be worried about what it tastes like.
And you
Shout
know
out
what,
to
man?
shout
I
out to
got a
Craze.
gang
Thank
of
you for the
homies.
$2. That's the first lunch somebody got us going with lunch for sure. Everything is a Crip when you're a Crip still. Exactly. Shout out to Chris. Still got on here and went in. Yes, he did.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. G just bring it out of me. But the thing is, G, I love Crips. Crips are my most entertaining homeboys, especially the ones that's the super Crips. Everything is cuz. It's not, they don't say cuz, they go cuz. Cuz. Cuz.
Oh, Lord. I got a headache.
The Crip homies is hilarious, dog. The Crip homies is the best homies, dog. And shout out to my blood homies, my Pyru homies, my Damu homies. I got, if you live in LA, you can't help but have gangbanging
You can't
friends.
help it. That's what we were saying on the
You
podcast.
can't help but
In
have
the ghetto,
gangbanging.
you can't help
And to
but
be
have
honest with
gangster
you,
friends.
I would much rather mess with Crips and Bloods and all that stuff than regular people. Crips and Bloods will have a certain amount of integrity.
That's
Shout
what we
out to
talking
Michael
about.
Baker. Some
That's what we
corn
talking
kernels
about.
come in a variety of colors, including blue. Exactly, still.
Man, I
Exactly.
want my corn yellow.
So you never had a blue corn tortilla?
I'm not eating that. It looked like it's bad.
It's
Oh,
I thought it
healthy.
was just some shit that went bad.
The paler the vegetables, the more pale the vegetable, the less nutrient rich it is.
Man, but they taste so good. It ain't
that's
about
why I said
nutrients.
the darker the
They
berry,
taste
the
More
sweeter the
right.
nutrients.
They
juice.
don't taste right. They taste white. White people been having you do this.
Man, my food is far from white. I got flavor in my stuff.
You know, Uncle,
You have to
people
over-season it. You have to
look.
over-season it because it was bad food.
Oh
That's
man,
like when you go out the
overseas.
country and you eat like what real chicken tastes like, and you eat real food. People don't
Yes.
like that because they like
Oh,
they
you know
feel like
what?
they poison. They
I
like
will
they
tell you
poison
this though.
America.
I will tell you this
Missing
though.
that poison. It's missing that poison. They're eating it. Like it's missing that poison. It's too
You
But
healthy.
missing
listen,
that poison.
listen to this, G. I was in Scotland, right? And I went to a Kentucky Fried Chicken. And the chicken breast was kind of lightly brown a little bit. It wasn't as white as this one that was over here. It was the best chicken I ever had.
Because it was real
Yes.
chicken.
Best chicken I ever had. Real chicken. They poisoned us over here, to be real with you.
But you like the poison. You
All
like
this genetically modified food. I eat non-GMO food now.
Shout out
I
to
Oh,
chop the
Craze.
sprouts.
Thank you for that other $2. I call my son cuz that part.
They doing $1.99. Is that a gang sign or something? Is that a Crip sign? You talk about cripping on there?
No.
no,
Shout
that's
out to
not what we
Squishy
talking about.
Crushfield, moderator. Thank you for doing this, Squish. We really appreciate you. G, is that the same with people? Yes. The darker the people, the more nutrient rich they are.
So I must be nutritious as a motherfucker. If a cannibal out there looking, he's probably like, that's a very nutritious man right there.
Still, you
No.
eating this poison. I don't know.
Man, my health is good though, so I ain't got no complaints.
Shout out to Joey Westside. All steel food need gravy for
No,
sure.
no gravy on it. And I'm gonna tell you, even though I prepare fork, that's for my other family members, but no pork on my fork either. I don't eat pork. I eat bacon though, because I consider when you fry bacon, you frying all the bad shit out of it. You fry it to it nice and you put it in the oven, you cooking all the bad shit out of it. So I eat bacon. I fuck with bacon. I ain't gonna never stop eating bacon.
But you don't eat pork.
Man, I don't eat ham. I don't eat no. Only swine I eat is bacon. My mama told me the other day. She said the pig died so I may live.
And
Oh,
Trill,
Lord.
you agreeing with this motherfucker.
The pig died so that I may live. I'll tell you this. I will steal me a piece of that honey baked ham. That shit good as a motherfucker.
Oh.
My head be hurting like a motherfucker. My head be hurting. I just take me an aspirin. I say I'm eating some ham today.
So you
I'm
eat the
eating some ham
poison.
today.
Look, he got to eat the poison because the pig, and then you got to take the aspirin.
Well, man, I'm gonna tell you, man, it's been I got people in my family that's live damn near to 100 years old, and they don't eat pork and everything. They eat pork 5 times a day.
They probably was eating real pig. This is not real
Pork
pig.
roast, ham sandwiches,
Yeah,
bacon in the morning.
they grew up on
Breakfast
real.
on the thing. My aunt Doris, she go put some bacon in the eggs. She go put some bacon on the side of it, bacon and everything. And it's that thick bacon too, that thick country bacon with the crackled corn on with the crackled pepper on there, and the big chunks of salt and shit.
Somebody still gotta take a Beano before every meal.
Probably so, man. You know what the thing is? When you get old, there's certain stuff you can't eat, man. I drank a milkshake on the way home one day. I said, "Ooh, boy, my stomach was in that motherfucker. Sound like it was beatboxing."
Oh my gosh.
That's the worst feeling in the world, man. I think when your gut start to rise up, man, I think that's worse than having to go pee, man, because you can't do nothing about it. If you got to pee, you could pull off on the side of a building or something, go in the back of the building or something, and do your thing. But you got to what can you do? I remember this store was tripping on me one time.
Americanized. You are American.
He is an American nigga. Shout out to my
brother. I am American. What else I'm gonna be? I'm from Cambodia, some damn where. I'm American. I'm a Midwesterner.
Please subscribe right here. Yes, please make sure you like this channel, subscribe to Digital Soapbox so you can see this madness as it happens.
Man, you know what, dog? My wife, I used to tell her about eating pork all the time because I hadn't ate pork. I hadn't even left bacon. Believe it or not, I prefer beef bacon. I'm kind of clown now. I make beef bacon now. But I love bacon, though, dog. Bacon is like a staple, dog. It's an American. I grew up eating bacon. I remember my mom used to make the bombest pork chops, dog. The bombest pork chops. And when you in the hood, you eat leftovers. My kids don't make no leftovers, but I used to have a pork chop sandwich the next morning.
Shout out to Ronald Green Jr. Still, you got to roll the window down. He for sure. The messed up part is this is still at 6:30 in the morning, bro. Like, he's so serious.
Man, you know what, dog? The thing is, half the people on here eat pork and all that stuff, and they get out in public, oh, I eat healthy, I eat this and that. We all eat fucked up.
I can't eat pork. My body don't.
I don't eat pork.
Man, you know what? I eat a piece of honey baked ham, and when I tell you that shit was delicious, man, but my head got to hurting so bad, it felt like a midget was inside my head wrestling.
The poison. You got that poison. You talking about blue corn is poison. You was eating poison.
Yeah, well, we'll tell that to the homies in the South.
I will.
Yeah, have y'all ever had sauce meat?
What?
Sauce meat.
Sandwich
I don't know what that is to this day. It's like a meat that's kind of jello-ish. It's like a jello-ish, and it got all kind of chunks of different stuff in it, like peppers and different stuff like that. Sauce meat, man, I don't know what that is. I think that it had to be something bad and nasty, but you put that shit on some crackers, man, that was the best shit in the world.
No, I don't know about that.
Because there used to be homies, you know how the liquor stores back in the day used to have the meat department next year where they get big things of bologna to where you go, your mama send you to the store and she said, go get me $2 worth of go get me $2 worth of bologna, go get me $2 worth of cheese. Well, you ain't had to buy because you had the free cheese, so we had cheese for days. Give me $2 worth of bologna, give me and give me 75 cents of sauce meat. You get that sauce meat, she put it on some crackers, man, it's the shit, dog. And the bologna at the liquor store was the best.
Oh, Lord.
Thank you,
Lord. I still eat bologna sandwiches. You know I fuck my kids up. They so spoiled and soft right now. So I was in the kitchen frying some bologna one day, and they was like, what is that you eat? And I said, man, you don't do it, man. I fried it up, G. And you got to cut the edges because when it start to bubble up in the middle and it be all messed up, you got to cut the edges so it don't, and you burn it a little bit. Put some cheese on there, man, and let that cheese get burnt up a little bit. Man, they ate that. Can I have one more? It's the best shit ever.
You worried about a purple sweet potato, and this how you eating?
Man, I eat bologna sandwiches, sweet potato pies, anything I want. I am here. You only live once. How these young niggas say YOLO? Or is that played out? YOLO, nigga.
It's played out.
Sauce meat. There you go right there.
What was we talking about? Because we went from...
all this stuff relates to cripping. This ghettoness and it relates to cripping. If you're a real crip, G, you eat sauce meat.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is crazy.
And then, man, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you what's the bomb too. I'm surprised I don't have diabetes. Y'all know the Kool-Aid that come like with sweetener already in it?
You put more sugar in it?
Man, no, I mixed that with some lemons from the backyard, dog, and put some grape Kool-Aid packs in there, and put some grape Kool-Aid packs in it, and put the red Kool-Aid pack in this bomb. I call it Big Steel Punch. And I make that every holiday and make a big thing of it. People like, this is so flavorful.
Why are you worried about a purple potato and this is how you eat? If you eat it like this,
purple potato just don't look right. It don't look right to me. That's not how it's supposed to be.
The healthiest thing you probably ever eat is a purple potato because your diet,
Man, I know somebody came over my house one day talking about if you'd have put some shrimp in this, it would have been bomb. Shrimp do not belong in no macaroni and cheese.
You don't eat seafood, Mac?
Man, I don't eat seafood, period. I don't mess with fish.
Shout out to Gene Sanders. We need a night shift lunch table. We need a dinner table for all our brothers and sisters that work at night every now and again, at least once a week. Maybe we'll bring in a dinner table.
You know what? We should do like a 12 o'clock at night podcast called The Night Shift. What was that song my boy Lionel Richie had on the night shift? We have that playing at the beginning of it.
That's the Commodores. Lionel Richie's not even on the song.
Whose song is that? Is that the Commodores?
He wasn't even with
them. Lionel Richie and the Commodores?
Not at that point. He was already done.
The night shift was hard though, dog. I don't even know what was that song was on a movie or something, wasn't it?
Every time I think of the night shift, I think about Nip. That shit really hurt my feelings. I don't know why that songs make me think of him so much. I posted in my IG my IG, you know that you can put the little song in your IG. Every time I do that, I think of Nip. Every time you see it, that's what I'm thinking about.
Gee, I don't know if you remember this, dog. You remember we went over to Nip's house? I don't know if that was Nip's house. It might have been Big U's house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I first met Nip, and we was in there talking about radio. He was playing us some, look at that. She said, still ain't gonna show. I'll be there at 12 o'clock at night. I'll be there. Squish, I'm sorry. I just got so much stuff to do in the daytime. She would make it at 12 o'clock. You know, if I don't do what my wife asked me to do, I'm going to have problems. I ain't trying to argue with her ass when she come home.
I can respect the truth.
Yeah, I'm just being real with y'all.
Okay, she said, okay. Go ahead. Tell me about when we back in Draw's house. Go ahead.
Okay, we was over Draw's house, right?
Yeah.
And I met Big Hugh by phone before, but I never met him in person, right, at that point.
Sure.
So Big U was in there. It was a whole bunch of 60 niggas in there. Niggas looking at you. You know how niggas go cuz you to death. You know how y'all niggas do when y'all think that. Because niggas knew me from running with Tony Lane. For this reason, everybody out here thought I was a blood for the longest. Because I'm running with High C and Tony Lane and all them. You know, second to none. Yep. So they like, you know, they think I'm a blood. So all these niggas in here cussing me to death. Cuz, what's happening? Cuz, what's happening? They sized me up. And Big U was like Big Steel. And he sized me up, right? Nip was the cool nigga, though. And I was saying something about music, and I remember him just really sitting there paying attention. He was just sitting there paying attention, man. That dude was special, man. And I'm going to tell you something. Oh, I can't say this. See, I wish I could say shit publicly sometimes. The truth just so fucked up about shit, dog. The truth just really fucks shit up because people take the truth as you dissing somebody, and it's not. But somebody from Long Beach that's really credible, and they told me this. And they wasn't really knocking Snoop, but they said if Snoop had the mentality that Nipsey had, the West Coast would be a powerhouse, an even bigger powerhouse than what it is now.
I don't think he could be Nip. I don't think Snoop could be Snoop if he was Nip.
Right.
Like Snoop is Snoop. Shout out to Snoop who just dropped an album today. Make sure y'all check it out, Missionary. I think that's why Snoop is the greatest Crip of all time. I think Snoop has never, ever not been a Crip. Not even if he thought it would benefit him. He's never decided that I'm going to abandon my roots culturally to advance. That's one thing that I'm so proud about and even following his footsteps. I love how even Dre really, you know, got his battles with the culture to me, but Snoop has forced the world to accept him exactly how he is. He's like, I'm going to show you. And that's a perfect example of what Crippin can be.
Snoop is the greatest of all time.
Yeah, he's the greatest Crip of all time. And
it's the authenticity of it all, though.
And that's why he's also the greatest hip hop artist, because street urban culture, he continues to to represent it. Like he evolves with it. He doesn't evolve out of it. He evolves with it. He shows you what a Crip can be. Like real Crips do take care of their mother. Real Crips do go to church. A lot of my G homies really go to church. Crips can have businesses and jobs. Crips can socialize with Bloods. There is no limitation on what a Crip can do. And that's what really, that's why I'm saying when people saying it's gangbanging really bad. And I'm like, no, you can be the kind of men you want to be. And gangbanging empowers you to be it unapologetically without respect for the law. So the only reason you could think gangbanging is bad is if you think the law is right. And if you are a black man in America that think the law is right, you are the problem.
Bro, they gangbang all around the country though, G. You know what? One thing you told me that fucked me up?
Yeah.
When you told me y'all act like y'all doing something so different out of town. Everybody, you know, they got Crips and Bloods in Cleveland now. They got Crips and Bloods.
But y'all act like neighborhoods and communities wasn't hopping out of minivans before you had Crips and Bloods. Y'all was shooting each other over the same exact thing. I don't know why do people in all of these different states that feel like they don't have Crips and Bloods, well, go to your ghetto. What are they fighting over? You think we fighting over something different? For some reason still, what has happened is people think we're really fighting over the color of a bandana. It's almost ridiculous that they think people would fight over that. But I get it. The movies told you that. White people said this is what was happening and you believed it. It's always been over these complex gray area situations. There's always been personal conflicts that create these situations amongst groups. That's standard everywhere around the world. I have no idea how is it not standard.
You know what, too? I noticed what the funny part about Cleveland is. All of these gangs were pre-existing gangs already.
Yeah, they just
changed. Like old neighborhoods, like the Dynamite Devils, been around since the '60s. Dynamite Devils, Brick City Outlaws, Heartless Thugs. All of them people been around a long time, right? They've been around a long time. And I think about it. I used to represent my street all the time. It was always 105 against the world. Yeah. If we walked by St. Clair, we were fighting with them cats. If we messed with the third niggas, because I remember it used to be a thing, dog. The five, where we walk down 103rd, niggas used to talk shit. They say the five ain't live, but the third is the word, and it was on and cracking.
Shout out to Repo Birdies. Our first time seeing you at the lunch table, my boy. Much love. Gangbanging is voluntary violence. Gangbanging has nothing to do with violence.
It's not true.
That's not what gangbanging is. Human nature seems to be violent. That has nothing. That's not. I always tell y'all, show me something exclusive or unique about gangbanging that doesn't happen throughout the world. Like there's nothing unique. There's not one element of it unique. The closest would be set tripping, where they give you a chance to announce yourself. They be like, hey, where are you from? At that point, they're asking you, do our communities have conflict or do you represent somewhere that's a threat to my existence? That's the closest you're going to get to uniqueness about gangbanging. We actually make it fair and say, hey, where are you from? And you have two different type of members, right? You got the member that's going to be like, if he asks you where you from, if you say nowhere, he'd be like, all right, either he think you're not from somewhere or he know he marked you out and he going to let it be. Or you have the member that's going to keep pressing you. Hey, you know what? Now, where you live, you might be trying to deny where you from, and I'm going to make it a problem because I don't believe you.
Gee, let me ask you this. Who is the young cat from 40s, man, that be out there? He crazy. Dude said, I'll beat the moon. I don't care if he's super cuz. I'm going to squabble his ass up too.
Oh, you talking about 4 extras.
4 extras. To me, he's one of them dimensions of Crippin' dog that's just like, you know, I talk about the extra out homie, the homie that's just always on go.
Sure.
I think when people think of Crippin', they think of him.
Yeah. That's what
I get why, because like somebody like Foe is like you got to realize the culture empowers whoever you are. Like whoever you are, the culture empowers you. Right? So if you already a turned up person, it's going to give you the power and the magnification of a military to be turned up. You know what I mean? Like they're going to push you. So like me, right? Like gangbanging couldn't make me somebody else. Like, right, it was going to make the person I am become forceful. Now I'm going to force people to deal with who I am. I'm not going to compromise who I am. Gangbanging taught me this. Whenever somebody say, hey man, what does gangbanging do positive for the community? Well, it gives some young men confidence. It gives some young men the ability to know that they can stand up for themselves. It gives some young men to teach you how to be a man, teach you how to be a man by yourself in a country that ain't gonna really care for you. It worked for me that way. Now, what it does for other people is different. But again, that's like certain things don't work for everybody. I'm not saying gangbanging is a fruit to where, everybody eat it, besides maybe the worst case of a diabetic person is going to give you vitamins and minerals. It's not. Crippin is not the Nation of Islam. It's not that great. It's not as fantastic as the thing that Farrakhan and Master Farad Muhammad and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It's not that. It wasn't a bunch of grown men that came up with an idea to empower Black people. It was a bunch of kids trying to figure out how to stay together and how to put a movement together that meant something. So again, remember Tookie and Raymond, you talking about Raymond who started Crips, Raymond and Craig Craddock, you talking about 16-year-old boys. They was born in 53. This is 69. They were guys who wanted to be a part of the avenues. Craig Munson didn't want the responsibility of the kids and kind of ran them off. And then they started something else. That's another thing that we should be talking about. When you don't take responsibility over the youth and you force them to figure out by themselves, you get the New West movement. You get Crips. See, the difference with that is they lucky Glasses was over the New West movement. Because if Glasses wasn't over the New West movement, it'd have been motherfucking anarchy around this motherfucker. Because you got a thinker. You got somebody that really ain't in his emotions. If Bishop was the nigga ahead of the New West movement, or let alone a nigga that was a gang member and a crazy nigga, the New West movement would have been fighting every old nigga. They'd have put out 1 million diss records. It'd have been chaos. It wouldn't have been that little thing that was realistic. So again, remember, the Crips started because the older brothers from the avenues, an original street gang, a Black street gang in LA, didn't want to take on the responsibility of the youth. That's how you get Crips. You don't get Crips because the older Black people embrace the youth and say, hey, you know what? Y'all do need to be avenues. We do need to be guiding you guys. We do need to be guiding you guys.
Do you think that Crippin is founded from the same situations that may have started the Bloods and different gangs around the country? You think it's all from the same soil?
Every last thing comes from the same type of poverty and oppression. That's why this thing won't breed in suburb areas, just like hip hop. It won't work anywhere else. It has to work that way. But again, we should get back to the fact that elder Black statesmen, shout out to Craig Munson. Again, like I'm not disrespecting Craig. Craig is a street legend in his right, a weightlifting champion, a mean person, like just a all around solid brother. But he should have took on the responsibility of Craig Craddock and Raymond Washington, and then they would have guidance to move their things. There would have been avenues. There would be no Crips. But the first time older youth, Black youth, disconnect from younger Black youth, you have Crips and Bloods.
Yeah, because you need the OGs. You need the elders. You need the teachers.
So when they were trying to be baby avenues, when Craig should have embraced them and said, hey, you know what? Nah, I'm going to take y'all on, little brother. Like I do young homies. Hey, I'll take you on, little brother. I ain't finna trip with you. I ain't finna out you. I got you. When Craig Munson should have did that to Craig Craddock and to Ray and to Raymond Washington, he didn't. He pushed them away. Word is he actually hit Raymond Washington.
And then you know something else that's interesting, Uncle, that a lot of people don't understand is that we, like I said, we all grew up in the same house, but I got an uncle that's a Blood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dietrich, my little cousin is a Blood. His daddy is a Crip. So it's like, even with that idea of like people thinking it's red versus blue, when it's like, that's not, it's just how people were programmed.
Yeah, I think. And that's why I said I can never articulate towards ignorance, niece. Like if you don't know, not ignorance, the insult, but ignorance by definition. People just don't know what gangs are. Again, you hear a lot of different stuff. I don't pay no attention because I actually know.
Yeah.
So again, specifically, right, we talking about that doesn't solve anything, right? Even if the old heads do take on the young, it's still very much a very outside of, a cowboyish society. You know what I mean? It's very much an outlaw outside of the law society. So there are going to be certain Americans that will never in their life agree that it is the correct move for people to make, because they've decided that they want to live within the boundaries of society set rules, even though it's weird for black people because white people make up most of society and set the rules. So as a black person,
let me ask you this though, G, and I can tell you this.
Go ahead.
For me being a dude that came out of state, I came in California in '88. I've been out here longer than I was actually living in Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of dudes that hide in gangs.
Sure.
Seriously, I've met a few people, and G, you know me, I've never been. I usually laugh at people when they get to acting stupid. When people get to and all that, I always just laugh, right? Because me being from the neighborhood, I know the dude that's usually doing that ain't gonna bust a grape. That's the defense mechanism, all that and all that stuff. I used to laugh like, man, this dude touched me, I'm gonna knock him out, but I ain't thinking about him. But I've seen people, man, that are cowards, and that's their first thing. I'm gonna call the homies. They be talking to one dude, I'm gonna call the homies, and we go do this and do that. I do think that, man, to a certain degree, when you look at the gang, if you got, like, let's say you got 40 people in that gang, maybe 5 of those people may be niggas that's really just, maybe even less than that, that's just, I'm going to go out and destroy some shit, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the contingency, which is the majority. I'm living life, but if you cross me, if you disrespect me, I'm going to handle my business. And then you got them few dudes who just cowards.
I mean, I think that's in every aspect of society, especially anything that society groups together. Shout out to Repo Birdies, and thank y'all to everybody still enjoying this conversation. I know you out your lunch break, back at your desk. Put your AirPods in. We're gonna go a little longer. You know what I mean, just to flush all ideas out. And we're gonna come back Monday with some brothers from Chicago, a brother from New York.
I got a question. After you read this one, I have a question about something.
Okay. Shout out to Repo Birdies. Again, we back Monday to go over this, but we not done now. So put your AirPods in, get back to work. I hope your lunch was enjoyable. Repo Birdies, a gang at its best is just a group of people. As black people, we are tribal by nature. Agreed. It's the activities that we do in our gangs in LA that stand out as negative. But again, to remotely make that as if that's just some indication of things that happen within the gang, it's not. To make that something that happened uniquely as black people, it's not. Nothing about it is unique to us. The first street gangs that are still around to this day in Los Angeles is White Fence. It's a gang in East LA, a Mexican gang. The first street beef between two street gangs that are still gangs that exist today were White Fence and Matavilla. And they have been beefing since the 40s, the 1940s. There's not a black person in East LA. Yes, there are black people in that gang, but it is very much culturally a Latino thing, a Mexican thing. To make this like this is unique and not understand this is a condition of human beings is disingenuous. And that's what I refuse to allow people to do. I refuse to allow people to do that.
Yeah, hold it real quick, G. Yeah, PJ Allen, I've been all through Dayton. I've been all through Ohio. I'm really from the O.
He ripping his set.
Man, Dayton is active as a motherfucker. See, that's the thing. Ohio got these small towns that get cracking.
I believe
Dayton is definitely one of them towns that get cracking.
That's my town.
I believe it. Okay, so when you was telling the story and you were saying how I forget his name, should have embraced.
Focus still, don't be reading my stuff.
Should have
embraced. How is it yours? That's ours. We on here chilling.
This is my stuff. I'm moderating. You talk to my niece. She talking to you.
What you say?
How do you feel about the teacher-student dynamic? Like, should the student ever outshine the teacher? Do you think?
Most definitely. If you're a real teacher, you want the student to outshine you. Everything I do, all the little homies that I've ever mentored or imparted some type of wisdom in, hell yeah, I want them to be better than me. That's why I tell like even me with my sons, I tell my sons, I've done enough stupid shit and made enough mistakes so you don't never have to go through that. And you should want your people. You should want, and that's the problem. A lot of people don't necessarily want to give up the mantle sometimes.
Mhm.
But it's like this: everybody gets older and leaves one day. You're supposed to leave a piece of you with all these people and let them grow greater than you.
So now applying that to street life, gang life, this with the story that you were saying, Uncle, about the inception of gangs, how do you see that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you feel now with the just gangs just kind of being all over the place and no order and not a lot of respect for like the older people?
I don't think that's what's happening. I think what happened was, this is gonna sound crazy. You hear that a lot, right? And shout out to the brothers in Chicago. They feel like a lot of their situations come from they were locking up the OGs for crimes and blah blah blah, falsely or whatever. I don't think that's really the problem in LA and Chicago. I think the problem is people used to remember at the height of gangbanging, everybody earned their living in the community. Remember, gangbanging is something that started primarily 69, start growing into the 70s, started really spreading into its own in 75. Everybody started doing their own thing. 79 is when you have the first big war, the big beef between the 60s and they trades, between the East Coast and Hoovers. But that's still not a big thing. It's not huge. When it becomes something is when there's drug money. There's an economy now in the community. There's a big economy, which is the crack trade. This is in the 80s. I think the older homies was around. Mind you, these are grown men, but they were around because this is how they were feeding their family. So, you know, people never went, there's this belief that gangbangers went a time without feeding their family. That's not. They were able to monetize the community and feed their family and also put on for the community and give opportunities. That's also when gangbanging was at its worst, because now everybody can fund their attitudes, their wars, their disagreements, right? But I think what happened is when the money stopped being in the community, people couldn't make a living. Homies that were grown and had to care for their families, that had children, that had wives, had to go out and find a way to feed their family. So it left young people to come up on their own and try to figure out what this thing is about. So I don't think it's they abandon them. They're being men. That's the one thing gang banging is about, you know, more than anything. Like, this is an intelligent take, but it's true when I stare at the core of it. Accountability. Like, that's masculinity, providing, not avoiding being a father. There's a lot of things that make it work the way it worked. So I think when you stop earning, when you couldn't earn in the community anymore, you lost people that had to go feed their families. They had to go find opportunities. And it left a bunch of kids. Shout out to my young homeboy, Watts boy, you know, people 18, 19 years old to try and emulate and figure out what was happening. Just like Crips in its inception. The difference is Craig Munson didn't want to take on the responsibility of the kids. He just didn't like them, even though his little brother's a Baby Avenue. He should have took them on. Versus my older homies having Glasses Malone having to go out, right? If Glasses is still making, you know, $15,000, $16,000 on the 7, then maybe I'm there every day to guide Watts Boy, to guide Baby J, to guide Lil Snow, to guide the homies. But when Glasses got to go out and go on the road and fly to Russia or Germany to do a show, I'm not there every day to guide them and show them how to make it in the streets. And then they forced to figure it out on their own. So that's why I'm not critical.
Do you know how important that is, mentorship, man? I remember we had a homie named Taco, man, from the hood, man, from the 5.
Hold on before you do that, Steve. Shout out to M-Benz, the higher the sock, down to the food. That's the slogan. Shout out to Michael Love, gifted 10 digital Soapbox Network memberships. That is player, Mike. Thank you, man. One of my favorite people at the lunch table. Thank you so much for that. Make sure y'all tell a friend to tell a friend, man. These is really real conversations is that. Ronald Green Jr., a gang is deeper than friendship. It's a family tradition. That is one of the truest things ever said. Let me get through this. Shout out to Demo Radio. I'm glad you popped up, Brody. What's up with you? I'm glad you at the lunch table a little late. Just wanted to show some love to the channel, and we appreciate you for that, man. TLR Sounds, I see you, my boy. I didn't know you slid in. Go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry not to cut you off.
Oh, it's all good, but we had a homeboy named Taco, and Taco was a dude that's, like, thinking back on it, Taco had been in the military and everything else, right? Older cat, right? He had showed all of us judo, and some of the homies really took it serious. Like, I don't know if you ever noticed, I studied judo for 3 years, right? It made me a really excellent football player and wrestler, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, you definitely go have your ground game right? But just him taking us in the park and really taking the time to show us, sometimes it'd be 30, 40 kids out there, dog.
Yeah. But again, it's one of those things like certain homies ain't like me. Like, I was taught to be a man by men. Shout out to my old homie Pluck. Shout out to Maine. Shout out to Boo. Boo only 5 years older than me, but it felt like he was my father's age, how mature he was. He was already off the porch. Shout out to Tone. Shout out to Moon. Shout out to Shady, Woody G, all my older homies, bro. Shout out to all of them, even Mad Dog. Certain homies, they really showed me how to be a man on my own. Gangbanging, true gangbanging, and AG will testify. It don't show you how to be a homie with other homies. It show you how to be a man on your own, how to deal and solve problems. So I think a lot of critique that the younger homies get ain't right. That's what I was saying. I don't think the critique that the younger homies get is right and fair. This is a bunch of kids just like the original Crips trying to figure it out. Like I was blessed to have Ace right there. Ace, who just texted me and was just telling me, let me read the message my big homie Sinister just sent me. I ain't even talked to Sinister in probably like 2-3 years. I'm only going to see him soon. He said, what's good, my real brother? Just checking in on my loved one. 7 up. Stay up, low. Blessings on blessings. Like, that's my G, homie, for real. So it's like, this is somebody I was blessed to have right there. Then I had my dad. Then I had my moms. Then I had my older siblings. But I had representation of men. And they were like my big homie. Yeah, we sold Sherm every day. That nigga still put his kids through private school. Still put his family in the house. Still did everything he's supposed to do with his economy. Still raised me when I was deciding to rebel against the structure inside of my fucking house and said, all right, well, I'm going to take, if you want to do this, let me show you how to do it right. Let me show you how to really be a man. Let me show you how to get out here and not get killed doing the stuff you do. You know what I'm saying? So I got a lot of respect for my older homies for that. Like they got my respect. And
I think that's the biggest thing. As an older person, I think that's the only thing you're supposed to impart. Because whenever I see one of the younger homies about to do something stupid, I just talk to him. I say, man, what's the problem? And most of the stuff me and G was talking about this today. You know how many dudes sitting up in the pen that don't even remember why the fuck they sitting in there? Or they sitting on trial for murder and really thinking like, damn, I really did. My life is fucked up over nothing. And I don't fucked up somebody else's life. You feel me?
Yep.
So I think you definitely got to. Go ahead, G.
Oh,
I just think you got a job to do.
Yeah, I don't deal with narcotics at all. What's crazy is that's the only thing I regretted about my past. I don't regret being a loc. Like, I just don't. But I regret selling dope, but I was ignorant and I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, people.
I think everybody regrets selling dope, G.
I don't think so. Some people think anything is worth money. You know what I'm saying? They like, oh, well, that makes sense because you was trying to make money. And it's like, well, if you like there's a line, there's a bar in a battle with probably the greatest rap battle I ever saw was the homie from Detroit against the homie from New York. You know what I'm talking about?
What dude from Detroit that want to talk real crazy?
No. Landslide, Calico against it was Calico against, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. I must be really getting old. It was like a big battle. Everybody shared it. It was a huge battle. But he said, is it right to kill? It's a specific line where he used, but he insinuated. Oh, shout out to Chi Murphy. Much love, Brody. Yep, Loaded Lux. And he said, is it wise to kill the community to save yourself? That shit like resonated. And it's funny because some people thought that resonated as a gang member. It's not, because the goal of the gang is not to eliminate other gangs. That's not the goal of the gang. The gang is to survive. Now, drug dealing is different because it's one of those things that I did that I didn't notice will kill everybody else.
And it's a conscious choice. It's a conscious choice for monetary gain.
I don't know if it's conscious. I'm gonna tell you why. Because even in my mind, still, because I never drank or smoked, I didn't understand addiction. I thought people were making choices. I thought people were making choices. Loaded Lux. It was Loaded Lux versus Calico. That's the greatest rap battle I ever saw. And again, I thought people were making choices. It's crazy still. I used to pride myself in having the best drug. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna have the top quality. Like, I watch certain homies, I would really think I was better than certain homies who would cut their water, would break fluid. I wouldn't even feel me. Like, I used to, ignorant glasses, young, stupid ass glasses, thought that was better. I didn't realize people didn't make a conscious choice. You It just
Yeah, you
did.
know
But
what,
I
man?
think also too that a lot of people don't take into consideration is that you only are as wise as you are because of your experience.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
people are so quick to judge a person based off of what the media has portrayed this thing to be, but if you did not experience those things in your life, you wouldn't be able to sit here and give this information.
Yeah. Shout out to Raw Travels. First time at the lunch table. I never seen you here. Glasses Malone, stop it. Gangbanging is negative. It destroyed lives and destroyed the black community. That's just a falsehood. Cracks destroyed the black community. Drugs have always destroyed the black community. Gangbanging has nothing to do with it. And I know that sounds weird. It just don't. Like, yes, gangbanging does take
But
lives.
I'm telling you, they go criminal gangbanger is one person.
Yeah,
Criminal
but that's
gangbanger is
it's
one
just
person.
ridiculousness. You know what I mean? Like, but crack because it destroyed all. There's too many other black communities around the United States that's destroyed to say gangbanging. I can see if all the other ghettos were thriving, then I would get it. If every other ghetto around the country was thriving, then I get it. Like if Cleveland
Man,
was
man.
I was in
thriving
Santa
together,
Yeah,
Monica for my birthday, and literally outside of the restaurant on the beach, somebody lit a pipe. I said, "Oh, we gotta go. We gotta go."
yeah. See, I'm gonna tell you something. If you in Cleveland, man, I remember growing up when a little kid, going back in the apartment, and my mom would beat my ass if I went outside with no shoes on. It would be needles everywhere. Heroin was always a big thing
Mm.
in Cleveland, right?
yeah,
Then we got hit right with cocaine. It tore up our neighborhoods. Not one of the biggest things I remember, man. I remember this girl. I used to serve this one girl, and she used to pull up in her little Nissan. She like she had her stuff together. She would just come Fridays, get her little stuff, and get home and go about her business. I saw her grow progressively worse. She went from being this cute girl dog to looking like she didn't really take care of herself like that.
Oh, she was on
You saw,
drugs.
then you saw the homie driving the car. Driving her car. So it definitely fucked the community up, man. That's one of my biggest regrets because I always felt like this. I always felt like that was a curse. Like you was cursing people because then my brother started smoking.
Mm.
yeah.
Thank God he not on it no more, but it destroyed our family. My my brother was breaking the mom's house and all kind of shit. You know what I mean? So it was just it was a fucked up thing, G. And I think that you gotta be really like a special kind of nigga not to regret doing that shit.
That's the only thing I regret. I don't regret this criminal, that's for sure. Shout out to Michael Baker. I don't know a gangbanger that wasn't a criminal. Well, you've decided at that point, being a gangbanger is deciding that the law is not the ultimate judge of morality. And you would not let the law get in the way of surviving or thriving in this world. That's really, really the thesis of
But you
gangbangers.
know, by that definition, how many groups I can apply that to?
Because they all fucking gangbangers.
Like by that definition that you're saying, I
That's
can
all it
apply
is.
that to so many
Because that's what
click. You know what I mean?
if you look at it, everybody really to a degree is a gangbanger to a degree. It just depends on what you represent. Shout out to Ronald Green Jr. I thought Tookie was a superhero first time I saw him. Man, me too. I just wanted to look like him, not me. I didn't even know what he was. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. He would look crazy. Shout out to Revenge. What up, brother? Yes, but what percentage of black gang members would you guess commit crime since you're disregarding the law? Not as many as people think. Everybody
Right.
in the gang, don't get me wrong, you subscribe to the concept that the law is not the ultimate sense of your morality. It's not a sense of your morality at all. But you also don't just be willingly looking to break the law. Every member is
How
not.
about this? There's more criminals in the world than there are gang members.
Shout out to the
Criminals.
homie Fire Bia. First time seeing you at the lunch table. Much love. Gangs are bad, period. Let's not act like they don't extort people and prey on the weak. I might not have the answers, but let's not act like we don't have a problem. We don't, and you don't have the answers. They don't extort people. They don't prey on the weak. Humans prey on the weak. That's not something exclusive to gangs. So when you keep saying gangs prey on the weak, I was never taught as a gang member to prey on the weak. Go beat him up because he's a punk. No, what most gang members are taught Fire is to stand up for yourself. It's not taught to prey on the weak. It's not taught to extort. That's not a part of the culture. Now, what human beings do with power is standard on every level. Every level. America extorts other countries to this day. Power has always corrupted. So it's not going to be any different. So no, nobody taught me AG is in here. AG is a Crip. Nobody
Somebody,
told
I
AG
think,
to
is that
extort
Crave
other
that said
people or to.
police gangbangers? I agree.
Yeah, you
It's gonna be, you know what though, G, and I think it's this. I think that small percentage of people that do get on like that, 'cause them the cowards I was talking about, the ones that's always dragging the homies into some shit. Let's go get the homies killed because they went out and started some shit they couldn't back up.
don't even know if they're cowards as much as, again, like, remember, like, I don't want to just go around talking about people that's already poor and messed up. Like, that's not completely true. Again, people are trying to find value for themselves, right? You to find value for to find value for yourself, right? So you realize you have people with your back, and this is kind of, most of the time, it's the first time like you had somebody have your back. People like that come from family. It's like the policeman, same gang, same person. This is the same exact person. The homie who got bullied and had to get back. He got bullied his whole life, and now he got some back. And he gonna show the world somebody got his back. Just like the police who get the job and was bullied in school, but now he has the system and the law on his side, a badge and a gun, and he goes out and misuses power. Power corrupts. Humans misuse power. Standard. It's nothing to do with gangs or police. It's human beings. These are platforms that you can use to fuck up.
Just like I said, just like Greek life. Greek life is the same thing.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's why some people understand Greek life is about, hey, you know what? This is going to give me a lifelong opportunity, maybe chances at jobs. And then you got some people who get in it to use it to mistreat people.
Yeah.
Just fucking humans. I can't give that to gangs. I'm not saying gangs are
That's
good.
a human condition, G.
I'm not saying
some people can't handle power, bro.
Yeah, I'm not saying gangs are good. I'm saying gangs are regular. That's not anything special. The Nation of Islam is great. That's good and great. There are other things that are good and great. Now, if you're asking me why gangs couldn't be good and great, it just would take some work. But again, it's also because they were started by kids who didn't have wisdom or knowledge because elders rejected them. That's a fact. Now, gangs themselves are just standard human existence. They're not elite level human existence. Humans can get in it and become elite, or humans can get in it and become the worst pieces of shit. It just depends on who you are.
What anything in life. Like I remember telling my mom, right? We was talking about the idea of information. So I said, you could teach a person to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Let's keep it as simple as this. One person gonna learn how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to survive, to build a business, to do whatever. Another person might make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to kill people. Poison, you never know. Like all you can do is give people the knowledge. What they decide to do with it is what they decide to do with it.
Man, listen. Shout out to Super Jedi. So then there's no such thing as a corrupt organization, only corrupt people. Yes, there are corrupt organizations. I'm just telling you, Crips and Bloods are not one. They're not a corrupt organization. They don't corrupt you. They tell you if you're going to screw up, this is how you do it to stay alive and stay out of prison. This is what they teach. Now there's not people there, don't get me wrong. This is why it's an average organization, is because there are not people there to teach you how to be a doctor. There's not people there. There's not enough people there to teach you how to get help. And shout out to my homie. You met Big J. You remember Big J. You just probably don't know his name, niece. Big J had been on me about my health my whole life. He's been with the brothers and on that program his whole life. He's been telling me about my health my whole life. I was so ignorant, I didn't get it. But that was a solid homie teaching me about dietary stuff back when I was 15. It's just not the culture of it all. That's why I said the only great black culture, the only great black organization in my mind, I don't care what nobody say, is the Nation of Islam. That's the only people that's cleaning niggas up off the street. Ain't nothing else picking up a nigga at his worst and cleaning him up and making him fucking outstanding. There's only one organization in the history of niggerdom. One. Not no other ones will take a nigga at his lowest. You can't even get into college at your lowest. So you can't be a part of Greek life. You can't get into most things when you broke. That's the only outstanding black organization happening right now today. That's the only one.
I will say this, and then I got a roll G, but I'm gonna say this. I tease G about his cripping, but he's probably one of the most altruistic people I've ever met in my life that genuinely cares about people. He told me that one day. He said, "Still, it's our responsibility to care about people." And I thought that was dope. I care about people. I can't see a man that's hungry outside and not help him. You know how people usually ignore people? Like if somebody asks me and somebody tell me they need something, I know there's a lot of people out there running game, G. But I've had people ask me for help that I knew really needed the help, dog. And if they didn't, that was for them to deal with, you know? Mm-hmm. But I've never let nobody go hungry. If I see a dude at McDonald's and he say, "Hey, can you buy me something to eat?" Man, come on. I've actually sat down with people.
Man, I'm telling you.
I think that's our responsibility as human beings, though, because I'm going to tell you this. I don't give a fuck how much you up right now. It can all change, man. All it takes is one thing and your whole life change. And you be down.
And to me, that's the thing that makes you a bad organization. When you don't care, when you're living this existence without a care for humans, right? That's not cripping and blood. And they don't teach you how to not care for humans. They don't teach you to disrespect old ladies. You will get your ass killed fucking with women in that community. You will get your ass in trouble slanging dope in front of Miss Johnson house. That's a fucking problem. That's not gang banging. So no, gang banging is not bad. Don't get me wrong. Gang banging can magnify and not even encourage, but it could prop up bad behavior. It could prop up bad behavior. It can prop up bad behavior. You know what I mean? But it's not what's going on. If you're going to be a doctor, the homie's going to encourage you. Again, it's a bunch of poor people, so they don't know how to fucking tell you how to be a doctor. It's not really a lot of doctors from the set, but if you going to do it and you a solid homie, they will pump your ass up. When I was getting A's every day and I wasn't hustling, then nobody never say, "Hey, you know what, G, you need to be from the hood. Come over here and throw your life away." Like, yeah, there's a homie or two that could do that. That happened with me, but I'm saying that's not most of your homies. Most of your homies are going to encourage you to be as great as you can. Even if you're going to be a criminal, be fucking great. They're going to be like, "Man, be a man, stand up." If you go get into it with them niggas, the first time we got into a shootout, I'll never forget. Shout out to Plug Low. This nigga, one of my favorite niggas. That nigga say, so we go bust on some niggas because the niggas was tripping. We go bust on them. I didn't agree with why we was beefing, but we go bust on them. Me, Lil J, and the homeboy Derek. Shout out to Derek from Bonnie. G on me, Derek. We go bust on some niggas. We come back to the set. I'm about to go home because I'm mad that we didn't win anyway. I don't agree, which I ended up regretting that because he was right. That fucking Plug is fucking right. But I'm finna go home. I'm like, all right, we done did our thing. I'm about to go home. I'm finna get out these streets so these niggas can't see me come back and shoot me. That nigga said, "Where you going?" I said, "I'm finna go home." He like, "Oh, no, stay out here." I'm like, "Why?" He like, "Shit, we need to get them niggas some get back." I'm like, "What you mean?" He said, "They finna come back through here, so we gonna wait for when they come back. Here, take this 9. Nigga, when they come back, nigga, pop out, get off on them." That shit sounded crazy, right? It almost sounded unfucking believable. Like, why don't we just disappear so they can't see nobody? That's when sisters start getting shot. That's when mamas start getting shot. That's when you don't want to be accountable for the fucking justice you dealing and you disappear and you be a coward. No. True gangbanging is done out in fucking public. It's your chest out. And when them niggas came back and shot, we was right there. We got back off of them. Gangbanging, honestly, in most times, is fair. As crazy as it sounds. You don't go to a nut. When we was, shout out to the homies from Carver Park. When we was beefing with their community, mind you, it's all in generations. We never poisoned the pool at the park. We didn't see them as an existential threat. You know, we're gonna poison the pool so them and the next generation of Carver Parks will poison. We didn't go to the meat market and taint all their beef. No, we're gonna make sure it's not done with that. I had got some grenades from the Grape Streets. Shout out to the homies from Grape Streets. Hopefully we won't get no fair cases old, but you know, nobody used them. But I had got some grenades from another gang. I remember proposing because my stupid ass so fucking smart. I'm thinking of how to get this shit over with. I'm like, man, we should throw a grenade. I remember the homies looked at, which one was this? Jamie? Somebody looked at me crazy like I had lost my fucking mind.
Gee, you said, fuck, we just go Bin Laden. We go Bin Laden up in this motherfucker.
Because you don't quite get it. I used to think like the average person in the public. Okay, well, maybe these niggas really do want to eliminate each other. That's not true. They got niggas over there they love. They just want other niggas to leave them the fuck alone. That's what gangbanging is. A bunch of niggas saying, leave me the fuck alone. Everything is done as a way to make people leave me alone. These niggas got to know they can't fuck with you. If you really want to hurt somebody, that wouldn't be the goal. You'd be like, I'm encouraging niggas to fuck with me. The whole thing about gangbanging, right, is they want to make niggas leave them alone. That's it. So I'm saying that's the truth. So when I look at it, it's kind of not fair for us to keep singling out black people when everybody human does the same thing.
Yeah,
it's funny. Shout out to AG for making this point. I'm sorry, niece. Hold on. Okay. For real, bro. You know how many niggas that's supposed to be so-called ops that I grew up with that are actually my friend? It's not crazy, AG. That's really how it is. You know how I feel, little AG, going through. This is prime glasses. We beefing with the Carver Park. Shout out to the homies from Carver. We beefing with them, and I gotta pass Bop. I gotta pass Dion. I gotta pass Peaches. You can't even do nothing to them. They the homies. That's you think if the 60s and A-Trays were beefing hard like the way you think it is, man, it'd be a body every day. It's 1,000 of them motherfuckers. They are right across Western. You know how easy for them every day for them to go over there and shoot each other? You know how close the Avalons are to the fucking 4-Trays? That shit is right there. Man, niggas ain't trying to kill each other all the goddamn time. Niggas just tired of niggas fucking with them. Niggas want to thrive in peace. And they'll do whatever it takes to make sure motherfuckers know to leave me the fuck alone. And then you do got the sick homies. You do have that sick homie that just, that's all his thing. He don't know nothing else. His life has been so traumatic. He's existed so fucking traumatically that he just don't know nothing else but inflict pain. That has nothing to do with the culture because they don't teach you that.
But the crazy part about it is people don't have the same energy for the people, the powers that be that made it like this. It's like we have this energy for, you know, what's going on in the community, but we don't have the energy for the cause of it all.
No.
You know, like
that's a great point. Shout out to Nate, too, who has another great point to go with yours, Nana. Shout out to Nate. Ninjas can be crazy, but we good. We ain't got nothing on them cartels. They be crazy. Them dudes put each other in a barrel and set each other on fire. You cannot tell me.
Oh, they love Scarface. They love, what's his name? What's the man that they always quoting? They Scarface. Love him. Yeah, Scarface.
Yeah.
They love Scarface.
Man, cartel's a different level of evil. Them dudes play with the devil too. There's a lot of Satanism in the cartel.
No, he's not joking.
There's a lot of Satanism in the cartel.
They be summoning the cold power to deal with their wars and these evil. Now again, man, it's like people don't get it. They to them, cripping and blooding is the worst thing. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing on a scale of nothing. This shit regular existence. Hell no, it ain't bad or good. It's just humans doing what humans do. They got some shit for your ass. You want to see some, you know, again, the only great black group to me is the Nation of Islam. They will, because I won't call a lot of the black groups great. I won't call a lot of the group because they will only take you if you at a certain standard. That's why
sure. I'm gonna hit you up. I got a roll for me. I'm gonna call you right back, bro. All right, niece.
That's why I won't even give certain groups. I won't even give certain groups that type of luxury. I won't even give certain groups that type of luxury, niece. Like I won't even give them type of shit. I won't even give them luxury. Because some won't even take black people at their worst. So you're not a great group if you take an average black person or a suburban black person and make them a better person. That ain't nothing. That was easy. When you clean up the worst of us, that's when you are great. So no, gangbanging is not bad. Gangbanging is regular. That's what niggas do. That's what humans do. I don't give a fuck if the human is white all the way to the blackest motherfucker on earth. That's what humans do. It's not great. Could it be great? Possibly. I don't know what it would take. I have no fucking idea because it's meant for poor people as a way to stick together. So it'll never be the Nation of Islam. Never. Never. It is not that type of organization. But I love the 7. I love my homeboys. I love them niggas with all my heart. I don't give a fuck when we argue. I love them niggas because they taught me to be the man. I was the man I was, and they taught me how to be the man I was unapologetically. They never told me to compromise my morals. They never told me to be somebody I wasn't. They said, if you're going to do this, this is how you do this. Stand up for yourself. Don't let nobody fucking run you over. I don't give a fuck what the law say. Don't let nobody keep you poor. Go get your money. And you can't tell me that's bad, especially not as a black man in America. Especially not as a black man in America. But we're going to get up out of here. We back Monday on this conversation one last time. Again, this is No Ceilings Live.
Sorry, I had to. My background
lunch
was loud.
hour. Oh, we almost done. We done anyway. We're gonna wrap up. This is No Ceilings Live and lunch hour every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time, right here on Digital Soapbox. Thank y'all for checking in. Again, this conversation is an extension of the No Ceilings podcast. Down there in the descriptions. Great conversation on what's gangster. Make sure you go check that out. So when you double back Monday, you have all the information. You have all the information. Double back on that podcast. Subscribe to the No Ceilings podcast on the iHeart podcast or the Apple podcast or anywhere else you get your podcast. The No Ceilings podcast, executive produced by Charlemagne the God, the Black and Fat Network, and iHeart. And we out here. Y'all say bye to my niece. She'll probably be back Monday if she ain't working. That's my niece, Nay. Y'all follow her on Twitter, Piece of Nay. I'm going to always have her on more pod, more streams. Y'all have a great weekend. We out here.
Bye.